Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're in high spirits, and I hope you have a blessed day. Today, I want to teach you a little bit about systemic racism and something that can help you protect the air quality in your home and your family at the same time. At the same time. Peep that out. So, anyways, during the wildfires 3 years ago, which were really, really bad, um, the air quality here in Sacramento reminded me and gave me a good visual picture of what I always imagined London was like during the beginnings of the Industrial Revolution, when factories started springing up and there were black fogs that killed people. It was really, really bad. So, knowing that, I bought this purple air monitor, which monitors the air in my house, and there's a website I go to that gives me the readings. And during that wildfire, the readings in my house were, toxic, really bad air pollution, and I felt like I was letting my family down because my kids were breathing that. And so, at the time, I was also, working with this really cool British scientist. He was cool. And he told me that, he had just had a baby, and he told me that he put a furnace fan on his fan. These are furnace fans. You can buy them at Home Depot. And he put it on his fan, and that cleans the air. So I bought one, and then combined it with this box fan. And so the box fans are $20 at Home Depot. This is a Lasco. That's usually the going rate. They'll probably be cheaper now that summer's been underway for a little bit. And these, the highest ones, they're rated from 1 to like 12 or something like that, or 13. And the highest ones will catch viruses, they say, smoke, mold, all kinds of things. This one is rated at 9, so this particular brand goes to 10. But you see what it gets: most smoke, smog particles. 10 catches even odors. I should run one of those in my kids' room. Mold spores. So this is everything that one of these will catch. And so what you do is you get one, and there's a thing on here that says which way the air should flow. And the 20 by 20 by 1 is the size that works with these box fans. So, the air is coming in this way and blowing out this way. And so what you do is you get it, you line it up, and then you just put it on the back. You might see other folks telling you to tape it to the front, but all that's unnecessary. Because this holds it. I mean, unless you're going to be moving this fan around, which most people won't be, that holds it in place. And so now your air is being cleaned. So after putting one of these in, I looked up what the monitor was reading. And what it was reading was that my air quality inside the house was dropping really fast. And by dropping, I mean the numbers were going down, which is a good thing. The air quality was improving. So I got a second one and ran it, and then my air quality was like almost perfect indoors. It was the numbers were like 17. I think it even got down to 8, which means there's almost like very few stuff in the air. And I felt like I was protecting my kids. The smoke is harmful to them. It wants to hurt them. It wants to give them diseases. And, I put up a barrier that protects my kids. It works, I think, pretty well. You do have to change them out depending on how much smoke is in the air and how much pollution. I do them about monthly, and I have 2 of them running when the air quality's bad. When the air quality's good, but it's warm, I just pop it off, and I got a fan running. If it's gonna be hot, I'll wake up. Well, I wake up really early anyways, but I'll wake up extra early, like at 4:30, and put these in front of the door so that it's blowing outside air into the house, and it cools my house down really fast so that I have to use less energy, contribute less to climate change, and save money. So I said I would teach you 2 things, which is how to protect your family from pollution, and a little bit about systemic racism. So as mentioned, I'll show you one more thing. So this one's dirty, and this one's clean, and you can see the difference. This is after like a month. That's all the pollution it caught. If you got dogs, it even catches. I have 2 little dogs. It catches their dander, their hair, all that. So it does keep your house clean, the air clean, and you see it when there's sun coming in. Like rays of sun coming into your house. Sometimes you can see little floaties in the air. And if you run these, that will totally eliminate it. No more floaties, and your air just looks really clean in your house. Now, the systemic racism part comes in here. Let me play something under the Fair Use Act. It's by X-Rated. The song is Misanthropy, and he talks about systemic racism.
They either assassinate your parent, they bring blood and kill you. I don't blame you, you don't feel the game I wrote. We've been brainwashed, conscious prisoners ever since we left the pole. Subliminal messages programmed to reject this shit, but they can't hide it. No matter what they try to do, my judgment is everything.
So there he's saying that we've been programmed, and he's talking about black folks specifically, since they got off the boat with these subliminal messages that protect the system in place, the status quo. And it doesn't matter how much money you get, you're still a slave to that status quo and system. And so and then the other part is, you better to rise and stay a puppet, making crumbs while they're making Skrilla by the bucket. And that's to me, that's where the systemic racism comes in, because when I learned about this, I started sharing it with everybody. This information, I thought it was really valuable. And at the same time, I was seeing the local government mislead and play hide the ball from the community. And arguably, the people that lost out the most were the neighborhoods with the densest concentration of Raza, monolingual speakers, Hmong folks, Vietnamese folks, now a lot of Arab folks. That's who was excluded from the process that was intended specifically for them. People in nice communities got the benefit of the money that the poorest people didn't, and the legislation was intended for the poorest people. Now, throughout this time, I was reaching out to non-governmental organizations, climate change activist groups, a lot of people, and telling them, look, there's an injustice happening here. It's well documented. You don't even have to take my word for it. You can go to their web pages and see the documents from these events, these meetings they've held, and see the manipulation in the documents. Don't take my word for it. Look it up yourself and I'll take you there. I'm not doing what people say, well, prove me wrong. I'll take you there and show you the information, right? None of them showed up. None of them showed up to call out this local agency for misleading the community because they had political agendas. None of them. One I begged, never showed up, never said a peep. Now, that local agency also kind of got this idea, I think in part from my sphere of influence, if not me directly. And at the same time, they were actively trying to stifle my voice. They were all raza. The people that were losing out were raza. The one speaking up was raza. Now, more recently, the same groups that never spoke up about those millions of dollars, millions, going to other communities besides the poorest barrio with it checked all the boxes for the spirit of the legislation. None of them spoke up. Now they're building their organizations with grants to pass these out from the same agency that committed those injustices that they never called out. And so
I am a business hotel.
that
I eat.
these are
and
crumbs.
efficiency. I'm looking for someone who appreciates high.
See what I'm saying? I mean, it's nice. It's good that people are getting them. It's helpful, but those are crumbs. While they're making Skrilla by the bucket, millions, whole school buses to nice school districts with the money that was intended for the barrio. Watch the video with Sandra, with Miss Sandra Celedon, Doña Sandra Celedon from Fresno, and their TCC experience. This is another video right here that I really love. He's saying that it was black people that put him on the slave ships. He's saying you were the one with the whip. He was not a slave, but he volunteered. To go with his family before they sailed away. So he chose to go with them. Leaving all the minerals, gold, and precious stones. In case you don't know, Africa is rich with those minerals that are valuable. So, as an analogy, today, someone might choose to go with the community, leaving behind promotions, kudos, awards, and everything that the status quo in the echo chamber does to validate people there, regardless of their contributions to the community. He took a trip under the end of the whip. In the name of Jesus, it was done. So I would say people who speak up, people who cause tension, and this goes to Dr. Martin Luther King's letter from the Birmingham jail that today's moderates want a peace. They don't want tension. They want peace that is the lack of tension, but not peace that is the presence of justice. And so when a black lady shows up and is mad that people in her neighborhood are dying from the pollution there, and that she sees, things that monitor for pollution being built in rich neighborhoods and not hers, and they don't have the same issues, but they're getting all the resources and is rightfully angry. It's okay to be angry, especially when you see these things. Instead of listening to her message, she'll be tone policed and called an angry black woman. She's irrational. She's emotional. And her message will be dismissed. And so in the video, he says it was done in the name of Jesus. I'm saying because I'm making an analogy with this song to the world that, the nonprofit industrial sector, the government, and the status quo, and where they all meet. The oppression of people is done in the name of professionalism. It's done in the name of a peace based on the lack of tension, and not a peace based on the presence of justice. He says his history is full of misery. You sowed your own into misery and slavery. So in Mexico, we got Malinche. During Vietnam, they had Hanoi Jane. And I bet every single culture has someone that they hold up as an example of the person who worked with the oppressor to their people's disadvantage, because it meant a good position for them specifically. Everybody has them. So he says you were already wealthy and so many riches. You were so wicked. So when we look at the politicians, the people that are in power and not letting, who have those agendas that keep the poorest communities continually in states of disadvantage and marginalization and poverty and all the issues that, plague really poor communities, those people, they're wealthy. They're not, some might have started humble, but they're wealthy now. And so when they make these decisions to, benefit a community over another that deserves it more and is the focus of the legislation, you're not doing it to eat anymore. You're doing it for ego. You're doing it for ambition. You're doing it for career. You're not doing it because it's the right thing. I never get that part, but I always associated sandwiches with white people, and I love sandwiches. So I don't know. I never got that part, but I thought it was funny that it brings up sandwiches in such a deep song. So, I also see on YouTube a lot of brown, black discussions, and I think you guys really missed the point. It's not us against black people. It's we're in the same boat. Whether you know it or not, we're in the same boat. And there's black and brown folks that are steering us onto those boats. You might be mad at a black man in the same situation as you, and really it's a brown man that put you in that situation, or vice versa. And so that's my lesson today, or what I wanted to share on systemic racism, that, you know, despite all that, there's a lot of people who were made aware of the opportunity to speak up against the injustice, who knew it existed, who never did, who helped other communities with their silence and complicity benefit at the expense of the poorest communities. And now they're in the poorest communities passing out crumbs and, you know, wanting to be recognized as something other than complicit in systemic racism. Thank you. Hope you guys have a good day. And I really, really hope you guys get these two. They're $40. And when the air quality is really bad, it's something you can do to protect your family. They really, really work. Thank you. Much love. Take care.